back to school again. Gotta go back, back, back to school again.
That would be lovely.
Friday. Hey guys. It's our last Friday in April. No, March. Let me just take another sip of my tea.
Our last Friday before April.
Yes.
Maybe.
So this is our last Cult Classic Friday for the month. And without giving too much away, our films for next month are going to be they're going to be quality, believe me. But they're not going to be like Grease 2, which is what we will be discussing today.
Yes, next month they'll all be Oscar winners.
Yes.
And, Grease 2 is definitely not an Oscar winner.
No.
But it is fun.
No, it's not. But happy Friday, guys. Avi and Samir here, book club for movies. Happy Friday. This is my Grease 2 inspired look with Michelle Pfeiffer's character. So we will be talking about Grease 2, but Samir, happy Friday. How you doing?
Happy Friday. It's been a busy one as always, it seems lately, but I think Walter's making a reference to the movie The Wild Ones, which was an inspiration for movies like Grease, or musicals and movies like Grease. So it's like they got the leather biker, too cool for school look from The Wild Ones back in the day with Marlon Brando, and it's like, what are you rebelling against? What do you got?
Life.
But they're all tied together, so everybody's right.
Okay, Luke, you say that. Have you seen this movie, though? Okay.
I'm going to say, Luke, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But I think you should be happy about it.
Yes.
Greetings from Switzerland. Hello.
Hello, Daniel in Switzerland. Andres, darling, how are you?
Oh, hello.
Andres, that reminds me, message us on Instagram.
Yes, do,
yes.
Please.
We need to give you a date for something for next month. But hey guys, Cult Classic Friday, we will be talking about Grease 2, but before that, yesterday was our final genre Thursday for the month. We've been doing fantasy films all month, and yesterday's was Princess Mononoke.
And what did you think?
I liked it. I don't think it's going to have the lasting impact that some of the other Studio Ghibli films do with me, but I did really enjoy it.
Yes, this one's not meant to be a cuddly movie. It's supposed to.
It's not.
So that's why this one, I think, lives with me more strongly than any of the other ones, because this is like a completely different type of picture, and it's really not trying to make you feel better. And I know, you probably want to feel, you're used to feeling, all cheerful and happy and sort of like bittersweet happiness after a Miyazaki film. And, I have a place in my heart for that feeling, but special place in my heart for a movie like this, which really tries to do even more than those movies are even attempting. And I think it succeeds. In leaps and bounds on that level. Luke, I would be interested to hear from people who said that it surprised them, because this was actually the first Miyazaki film I ever saw, was this film. And it made me want to watch the other movies. And so so I'm seeing I'm interpreting it as like a different, look at the range that he has as a storyteller, that he can do, that he starts with this. And it's such an epic, if this was a live action movie, this would be like the kind of movie that is nominated for 10 Oscars. Everybody, like the director, the cinematographer, the editor, the sound, every single person would have been nominated for an Academy Award. But the fact that it's an animated film, it just sort of automatically removes it from that. But I genuinely think that this should have been something that the Academy Awards made a Best Picture nominee, because it was one of my favorite movies that year. I thought quality-wise
it wasn't even nominated for Best Animated Film, I don't think.
It's insane, right? It's I think because it was not a comforting movie and people thought they were going to see another My Neighbor Totoro, when this movie came out, and they were like, "Oh my god, like he's not kidding around." Like
people are getting their heads shot off with arrows.
Like limbs are just flying off from arrows. The demon that like when the movie opens, like it's really grotesque and scary, like that boar demon. And then of course you don't realize
that if I had seen this when I was like 10 or so, that would have scared me. Because I think of even I saw Spirited Away when I was probably like 10 or 11 maybe, and the one person, it's been so long since I've seen it, I don't know the names, but like one of the more iconic characters with like the mask, that used to scare me. That I don't know. But per usual, I'm always impressed by the character design that goes into these films, where they could really just like kind of go crazy with it. It's not Disney where everything has to be really cute.
I guess the animated film, it wasn't established until 2001. Interesting. I forgot. It's been so long that we've had it. I'd forgotten that it wasn't always there. Which we'll go over next month in our Oscars month. There's lots of categories that there's interesting histories of. And I feel like movies like this, eventually it was like, okay, if you're not going to acknowledge an animated film as one of the best films of the year and nominate it like you would any other best film of the year, then maybe there should be a category for these movies to win an Oscar so they can be acknowledged, because it's just a couple years after this movie came out, I think that award was became a thing. But I love this movie still. I really wish it could be back in the theater again, because it's an amazing experience on a movie screen. It's just incredible. Like it's hard to describe just how much better it even is. Even watching on TV, it's amazing, but how much better it even is on a movie screen, where it was really made for you to see. And you'll see so many more details in the animation. An interesting thing, I believe this was I don't know if it was one of the first movies, but it was definitely, I think, the first Ghibli movie by Miyazaki that incorporated computer animation, because most of it is hand drawn. And then where the computer animation really comes in is like sort of the rebirth moment, where the earth starts to grow again. That's the point at which, when I watched this in the past, I would always start crying when things start growing again. And they're like, I think the spirit is trying to tell us that we need to live. And and you can see that the scars of the curse are starting to go away. And I was just like, that always hit me like really hard when this movie first came out, and I was watching it over and over again. That I didn't shed an actual tear this time, but my eyes did get misty a little bit in that moment. That piece of music that's played as things start growing also is just such a beautiful composition. Just like traditional Japanese piano composition. It just the sound of it, the melody really hits me too. But I'm always surprised by how much blood and gore is in this movie, especially when the major boar god, the big aging white one, is lumbering and bleeding through the forest, and then all the men are like pushing on him. He just keeps spewing like rivers of blood out of him. And so I'm just like, this is an animated fantasy film.
Yeah, it was even before that. So I watched this movie today, and my mom sat in for like a few minutes as she was eating lunch, and she saw the boar before it even starts like dying, but there's like a close-up of its eyes, and you could see that it's kind of like crusty. She was like, ew. I was like, Mom, you don't even know. This makes me feel so old. 20 years since Shrek. Also, I've been wanting to watch Shrek lately. I've been having this like overwhelming desire. Like, it's been years. I just want to watch Shrek. Wow. But thank you, Luke, for the trivia there.
Hey, I felt old when my nephew got a Facebook account, and it's like, would you like to add this person as a friend? I'm like, oh God.
Scam Facebook for inappropriate content.
Right, but continue.
I watched this movie in the Japanese version.
Good.
I think if I watch it again at some point, I might try it with the English dub just to see how it is, just because it does have so many familiar actors with it. But I stand by my choice of watching it.
I stand by your choice too, because one thing, because I watched it both ways, and the English dubbing simplifies dialogue sometimes in a weird way, or it's like it doesn't translate as well. So it sounds like this really simple statement. It's almost like a child speaking, like I only know these words to say this kind of line. Like sometimes the lines are like they're very like cut and dry and lacking in nuance in the way that some other things that they're saying are nuanced. So every now and then it's just like, okay, that's kind of an odd line reading, Billy Crudup. I'm not sure why you said that way, but usually the movie, just like the power of the images and the visual storytelling always like wins me over, because I'm always just kind of mystified. You're always like never quite sure. You don't fully understand nature because of this movie. I think this movie is trying to tell you that it's more complex than you realize, and there's more ramifications for each of your choices as a person and the footprint you leave on this earth that you can't see when you're making that footprint. So there's a lot of that in the movie. Like when you see like the spirit, I forgot what they call them, the spirit forest, or the forest spirit, the major like god that everyone's after, and he like controls life and death. And with with every with every step, like flowers grow and die with every step, so it's like you realize that within this being, life and death is contained. And so when they kill it and there's no life containing the death anymore, then death is just like overflowing and can't be controlled until it's reunited with its severed head. But interesting lines, like like when like Minnie Driver. I love, first of all, in the English dub, Minnie Driver is amazing as Lydia Boshi. Like that voice performance is really good. Billy Bob Thornton, like I said, it's the like Southern accent with like a Japanese monk character. So the character that Billy Bob Thornton does in the movie, is actually the monk who's got all the riflemen. He's walking on those really high shoes. That character is voiced by Billy Bob Thornton in the American dub, and it sounds very weird. So I'm like, he's trying to kind of limit his Southern twang to his voice. He's trying to like erase that as much as he can for the character, because it just kind of makes it stand out. Like, okay, I'm not in Japan. I'm wherever Billy Bob Thornton is right now. That can be a problem. So he does try to sort of modulate his voice to reduce the regional accent that sort of pops up every now and then when he speaks. It's not consistent with him, but that is a definitely thing, because it's such a recognizable voice, so it's hard to just be in with the character. But yeah, it's like the Japanese dialogue in the story, it's like that's the way it is supposed to be. And the American version is, Jada Pinkett Smith is in it, and also her voice acting is not great, but it's also very odd because she's a very recognizable voice as well. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not buying you as a Japanese brothel worker who now works in Irontown. I hear Jada Pinkett Smith, so like you missed out on some of those things. So I do definitely recommend watching it in the original Japanese, but there are some performances in the English dubbing which are also very good.
There's also I don't know, I have a problem too. Granted, this was like over 20 years ago, so maybe they wouldn't do this now, but I also have a problem with all of these non-Japanese actors. It'd be one thing if they were actual Japanese actors and they were still just like speaking English, but it's like they're whitewashing behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's why there were, like you said, there was like, when they were originally going to release it only in the dubbed version, people like really, there was such a huge outcry and there was so much love for this movie that they actually convinced Miramax, of all studios, who released this in the United States. Of course, Miramax is owned by Disney, but they actually pulled that DVD back. I had to wait for so long to get it, and then it came in a Japanese with the Japanese language track, and that's how I watched it the first time I watched it on DVD. In the theaters, it was dubbed. They just released in theaters dubbed, so there was really no way to see it unless a theater chose to get a print with the original Japanese audio, and most theater chains did not do that. So maybe if I can somehow get it out in theaters again, for a little retrospective screening, I'll get a Japanese language print.
Yeah,
and
I'm
not
sure
the English
this
dub
is.
print.
I remember, well, of course, maybe not with this movie, but I remember seeing. I think I saw Howl's Moving Castle in theaters when I was living in Berkeley, and there was that theater that used to do the Throwback Thursday movie
Yes.
nights, and I remember going with my roommates and seeing that in theaters. So yeah, I'm sure there are times where this will pop up. Just got to keep an eye out when get that opportunity to see us in theaters. But if you didn't see this, it's on HBO Max in both versions, the dubbed and the original Japanese version. Really fun, very different from other Studio Ghibli films, at least from what I've seen. Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I think it's a great movie. There are other dramatic films like that. Like I think one of my other favorites, it's not a Miyazaki film, but it is, I think, from the same studio, called Grave of the Fireflies. It's just a really tragic, beautifully animated drama. It's obviously, I think it's like a post-war story of two children left adrift, but movies like that are very special, and I really, really love this. So I hope people continue to love it in the future. I think they will. I think it will be interesting to see, depending on what happens to the Earth in the next 20 years, how this movie will look, because I feel like that happy end, it's all not even really a happy ending. It's just hopeful, but there's still an acknowledgement, like, I can't pretend that all this horrible stuff hasn't happened and just move forward. Like, these people are my friends. The person like Lady Eboshi is like supporting lepers and getting women out of sex work that don't want to be there to give them a different career in life, and trying to build something new that's in a progressive world. But that person's also responsible for destroying the environment to do that. So it's like there's good and bad in everyone. The movie ends like that without saying like, oh, everything's fixed and we're all fine. And it's one of the few movies that doesn't try to wrap it up in like this is a perfect happy ending for everyone. And it's like, we're just going to do the best we can. That's all we can do. It's how it ends. And it's like, okay, that for an animated film, it's so much more realistic in the way it ends the story than I think a lot of live action films would be. So let's do this again in 20 years, Amy.
Okay.
But it is called Classic Friday.
Before we move on, though, we haven't done our. Okay, so again, this is this book, Name That Movie, 100 Illustrated Movie Puzzles. You have to guess what the movie is based on these images. We've been doing 2 a day. This movie is one of my favorites. That we shockingly haven't talked about this movie yet. Maybe we'll try and get this into May or something, because this is okay. But here we go.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say you would probably get it from that one.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and comment if you know what movie this is.
I know.
This is not a new movie. This is another kind of giveaway image, I think.
Yeah. If you don't get it by the last shot, like, you just have not seen this movie.
No. This is from the 60s. Won a few Oscars. I absolutely love this movie.
Oh, I know it. Come on. I feel like Walter might know this one at the very... Walter, Andres, one of you. Ah, come on. Come on.
I know. See, we have that delay, so someone could have already typed it.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so we're going to wait for the answer, but I know what the answer is. Oh!
Shot in the Dark? No.
Oh,
no.
Glamorous, romantic couple. I wouldn't say glamorous, actually. A romantic couple who are
glamorous.
thieves.
Based on real people.
And the movie ends as their lives did.
Wait, maybe Andres gets it. I can't see. Sorry, I'm trying to get it as... I'm trying to hold as still as I can.
So this is
here.
like the end of the movie, that image.
Come on, Andres, do you know this?
It had Warren Beatty.
Mm-hmm. Bonnie
There we
and Clyde. There we go. Yeah, this is, if most people would get it from that one if you have seen this movie.
Yes, the close-up of the man being shot in the face after the bank heist. It's a very famous shot for no pun intended, I promise.
Yeah. Okay,
from that
let's do one
movie.
more. I think I know what this one is, but I want to double check. I'm gonna look at the answers.
Are you trying? Are you trying to confirm that
this is one I didn't know what it was at first because it had been a while. Okay, cool. So we have one more that we'll do.
Okay, one more. Okay.
Okay. That says Waltz International Pictures. We've got some dead people in a restaurant. This one took me a while to get this. Police hunt cop killer, New York World Telegram. Here we've got a traffic stop with another shot up car. We got a theme today. El Rancho Vegas, Joe E. Lewis.
Gloria to Haven.
Walter already got it. And then this
I was going to say, I'm like, there's only one thing that I'm pretty sure this is, mostly because of the picture tie-in. From that first thing, I was like, okay.
Yeah, Walter, the Godfather. Oh, you guys all know this one. Right. Yeah, it'd been a while since I'd seen it. And then once I was like, well, I don't know. And then I looked up, I was like, oh my God, I'm stupid.
I'm like, Amy, of course. They control everything, the Mafia.
I know.
But Daniel loves your fingernail polish.
Oh, thank you. It's coming off. This was my St. Patrick's stuff that I did. Thank you for noticing. Yes, The Godfather. The Godfather.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I have a DVD set of all three of them. Yeah.
Fabulous.
That was fun. We'll do two a day. Keep that going. Thank you guys for playing along.
Yeah.
Right now, gotta go back to school again. Oh no, I gotta go back to school again. Okay, Grease 2. Oh boy, yeah, not Grease. Grease 2. We have not talked about Grease. We're skipping Grease.
I was going to say, this may be a controversial opinion, but I kind of like Grease 2 better than Grease 1.
I do too. Okay, the first Grease, I acknowledge, is the more quality film, although it being more like problematic of like, here's a woman who has to completely change her personality to fit in with this guy. I think the music's great. It's a classic. I will always love Grease, but which do I think is more enjoyable? Hands down, Grease 2. There are a few actors from the original, but not many. There are a few of the teachers. I know Didi Khan, who plays Frenchie. She is briefly in Grease 2. I was just reading that there was some discussion of John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John coming back for cameos, and that didn't end up working out. But this movie is pretty much a standalone film. I don't think you would have had to have seen the first one to really understand the complexities of this film. But this came out in 1982. I believe the first Grease came out in 79.
78,
yeah. Almost. This basic plot of this is a British student at a 1960s American high school must prove himself to the leader of a girls' gang whose members can only date greasers. They are referring to, of course, the Pink Ladies and the Greasers. This on IMDb has a whopping 4.4 out of 10 star rating, which I think is not fair. I think it deserves.
I don't think it is either. Yeah. I feel like it's based on the fact that everyone thought they were going to get some sort of continuation of the story from Grease 1, And then when it didn't give them that and it was all new people, everyone's like, what the hell is this? This is garbage. So everyone just sort of built the narrative in their brains that this is garbage. This is no good. This is stupid because it has a 2 in the title, like it's a sequel, even though it's not really a sequel in any way. It's just another picture of kids in high school in the era. And that kind of reminded me a lot of John Waters' Hairspray.
Mm-hmm. I can
It
see
had
that.
a lot of John Waters energy. Like it reminded me of that. Like you have the teacher, I think was it Connie Francis? I forgot. She plays the the sexy music teacher, who's always fixing her hair with hairspray, which is like, I feel like John Waters saw this movie and he's like, got an idea.
So this movie stars Michelle Pfeiffer. This was her first really big role that kind of, and her career really took off after this. This other guy here, Mr. Michael Caufield, he beat out a lot of really like already fairly well-known actors at the time. And his career completely tanked with this.
Poor thing.
What am I drinking? I'm drinking some Lipton tea.
That's sad though, because he's so adorable. He's so handsome and charming in this movie.
He cannot sing at all. So I could see how that was a big problem, given that this is a musical. But I saw this movie for the first time, I think, when I was in middle school. And I definitely, and that was already, close to 20 years since this movie had come out. And I had a huge crush on him.
Understandably so.
Yeah. And then I was
when he's running around in those little running shorts, I'm like, oh, hi.
Yeah, and he's still acting, actually. So his career eventually did recover. Certainly nothing of, he's not a superstar. He's not an A-lister, but he certainly has had a working actor career.
He plays Rex Manning in Empire Records.
Yeah, he was in that. He's been in some soap operas. He's been in TV shows and TV movies. I think I was shocked as like a 12-year-old to read that he married a woman 20 years older than him. I wonder if they're still married, but I was definitely like, oh. As a 12-year-old, I was like, I have no chance with him.
Well, you never know. You could find a time machine.
There we go. This movie also was the film debut of Lorna Luft, Judy Garland's daughter. I'm not sure how many other films she's been in.
Let me check real quick.
She's actually
really good in this movie.
Yeah, she hasn't acted since 2014, looks like.
But I don't think she's in anything else.
Career. But there were a lot of big people that auditioned for this movie. Again, this was back in the early 80s. I guess Tom Cruise auditioned for the role of Johnny, who's like the head greaser. He can sing. I don't know exactly what this would have done for his career, but there were a lot of big people who from the 80s who they were supposed to be in this movie, turned it down, and then was that. I saw something else that, again, this is on IMDb trivia, so who knows if this is accurate. There was originally plans for there to be Grease 2. I think there was going to be like another movie and then like a TV show. And then Grease 2 it did make money technically, but otherwise it was kind of a box office bomb. And that, all those other projects were abandoned, but eventually remnants of this TV script got turned into High School Musical.
Oh,
I still have never seen.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it came out when I was in high school, and everyone was obsessed with it. And I was like, "This isn't a musical. I know real musicals." And I just
it is a real musical, I will say, because I have seen it. It is an actual musical. The people who are in it are people who are they were trained with musical theater training. Like, it's a legit musical. It's just that it somehow didn't feel right. I don't know why it didn't feel right for that movie to exist. I don't know why I felt that way. I have no logical or justifiable reason to feel that about it, because it is a legit musical. I just didn't enjoy it. And of course, well, we should all be thankful for that musical because it brought us a superstardom level for Zac Efron. And I think my life is immeasurably improved by Zac Efron being in movies because he is not afraid to show us just how much he trains.
He has turned into a man. Oh boy. Grease
What a
2
daddy, I
has,
would say. Zaddy, maybe. He's a little young to be daddy.
yes. Grease 2 has so many catchy songs. They're all completely ridiculous. There's a whole song. I mean, I guarantee these songs will be in your head all weekend. One of the catchier songs is called Reproduction, which they sing in a sex ed class.
Yes, I love it. It's my favorite part of the movie.
Reproduction, baby, give it to me now.
Luke, how mixed are your feelings on Zac Efron? I mean, it depends on how much you're attracted to men. If you're attracted to men, then my feelings are less mixed. But I like him as an actor, anyways. But nonetheless, but that's the signature number I think of this movie is Reproduction. It's just so fun. But the whole movie is just like it has it. Like I said, it has that kind of John Waters kind of energy about it, where there's a twin mocking and admiration of the style in the period. And I felt like Grease was trying to do that, but it sort of fell far more on the admiration than the mockery, I think. And this movie kind of does both. I think this movie comically is more successful because of its better handling of that mixture. Andres. You. It's true. I feel like you meet anybody who's just stunningly beautiful, and I feel that way about Michelle Pfeiffer. I may be homosexual, but something in my mind is just like, you know what? If Michelle Pfeiffer asked me to do something with her, I would probably just say yes because I think she is like a goddess on earth. It's like how much I love her. I just love her look on film. I just love her energy and her spark. And like, she just has a look that can translate to so many different types of films and stories and roles. And she knows how to work what she has to the max. Like my favorite Catwoman of all time. I mean, I love Eartha Kitt as Catwoman, but I think Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman in Batman Returns is like the one to end all of them. Nobody's going to get better than that. We saw her in the Fabulous Baker Boys playing a chanteuse and, like she just can do so many things, and she just, I bow.
I like one of her more recent roles, just as we talked about this movie briefly with Eva Green. I liked her in Dark Shadows.
I love her in anything she's in, even terrible movies. Like it doesn't. Like I literally, she's like another Eva Green for me. I will watch her in anything. Like you ain't dead. Like if you appreciate beauty, then you have to appreciate people like her. And it's so fun to see her in this movie because she's so young. And you see what she looks like now, and I'm like, wow, you aged better than I think anybody in Hollywood. And I don't see any of the telltale signs of facelifts or any other things going on there.
Like I feel like you could definitely see her wrinkles. But yeah, still gorgeous. She's so much fun in this movie. She has a few numbers on her own. Now, is she Olivia Newton-John singing wise? No.
Acting wise.
Yeah. But I'm just so excited to watch this movie. In preparation for this, before I knew that it was available on Prime, because as of last month when we had decided to do this movie, you would have to rent this, and I own this movie only on VHS, and I thought, like, well, I don't want to pay to rent this movie because I technically own it, so I just decided to go ahead and upgrade my VHS copy and bought a DVD. Fortunately for everyone else, it is on Prime now, so please give it a watch. It's fun, it's campy, it's crazy, and we're not going to have another movie like this for a while.
We're going to have a lot of fun movies, but there's not going to be anything that's just pure silliness.
Yes. And this is one that I've been wanting to do this movie for a few months, and it finally worked in. Okay, we've got to do Grease 2. We've got to do it. We're doing all Oscar-winning films next month, so Grease 2 ain't going to qualify for that. But let's get it in. But please give it a watch on Prime. It is Friday. It is our Patreon Appreciation Friday. Samir, would you do the honors?
We would like to give all our love out there to our screenwriter tier Patreons, Aunt Julia Lejoie, my dear friend from the theater, Crystal Mayer, who does not seem to have joined us yet today, but, you know, we've been talking this last week because there's so much news concerning the theaters we work for that we've all been talking about in San Francisco. And of course, unofficial screenwriter, but official day player, Walter, thank you. And of course, our production assistants who keep us going, Nicole Flax-Tatlock, Andres Gallego, and Donna Robinson. Andres is almost always here, so it's lovely to see you continue to join us. I do hope that Nicole and Donna can join watching live with us sometime soon. That would be fabulous as well. We love all of you for giving even a little bit of your time and a couple bucks here and there to, you know, help us keep this going, because it's like the most fun thing I do every day. I work very hard, and so these lunch breaks are very precious to me, and being able to spend them talking about movies is like the kind of thing that keeps me going through a really rough day. So thank you, everybody.
And Andres is also kind of a ghostwriter for next month at least.
That's true.
Yeah.
When did we get to unveil our calendar, Amy?
Well, not until next Wednesday. Not until Wednesday. Yeah, we're not going to know what we're doing, but we really appreciate all of our Patreons. Please consider donating to us. We'll still be doing this at least for a couple more months. Put the link in the comments. Yeah, but we love all of you. We love you. On Monday, our final Man Crush Monday for March, we are going to be talking about French actor Louis Garrel. Yeah, so we have two actors from The Dreamers without actually watching that movie.
Because that movie's impossible to find streaming. Thank God I still have a DVD. Luke said he's working on a theme song.
Ooh, we would love a theme song, Luke. And yeah, please give us your honest opinion of Grease 2. As we'll repeat, it's not good. It's not good. Is it extremely enjoyable and fun, and will you love it? Yes.
I would say it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's not good. I would say it is good. Bad. I think there's a lot of things. It's also directed by a woman. It's one of these movies directed by a woman in the 80s. So, you know, shout out to the studio for giving a woman. Maybe that explains why the tone of this movie is more enjoyable overall than Grease, which is directed by a guy. However, that guy did make one of my favorite live action Disney movies. So can't hate on him too much, but he made some other real weird films.
Which movie is that?
The director was Randall Kleiser. He directed the first Grease film. And the movie that I love that he did is Flight of the Navigator. It's a mid-80s live action Disney film with really stunning production design and a surprisingly very tense, interesting story. Yeah, that's the only movie by that director that I really love. I think that guy also did what is that horrible movie with Brooke Shields where they're on an island and Blue Lagoon, I think that's what it's called. It's it was a famous movie at the time. It's not a good movie. But yeah, I enjoy the tone of this. Something about this Grease 2 just sits really well with me in a way that Grease always kind of was, even though I loved singing the songs, you know.
Yeah, same.
But, you know, like I said, these are just our opinions. I would love to hear what other people think. Did Luke just change his name on here? Or is that a new Luke?
That's a different Luke.
Oh my God, we have two Lukes in the house.
Yeah.
Hello, second
Luke.
Luke.
Some Flight of the Navigator fans here. But please check out Grease 2. Again, available on Prime. Hope you love it. Make some popcorn, have some fun, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Everyone have a wonderful weekend, and yeah, we'll see you then. Keep the party going on.